The new Africa Continental Free Trade Area, the EFCFTA, is as big as it can get. Nigerian dailies in big splash on the front pages, to some corner piece story. Everyone do have the signing by President Muhammadu Buhari at the weekend of the new trade treaty. This is a big part economic integration of the African continent. Let's speak to Paul Alaje, who is a senior economist at SPM Professionals, to have his first word and his thoughts on this. This is going to be a big conversation. Good morning, Paul. Good morning. It is going to be a big conversation. It's a big story. It's a big deal at a time when the global trade is changing.
Yes.
Africa is coming together to float its own continental free trade area. This is big. What are your first thoughts on it? Let's get that out of the way.
Market expansion, mobility of labor. Africa have realized that it also could come together to push a front when compared to the rest of the world. As we speak, inter-Africa trade is less than 20% when you compare that what the Eurozone is doing, or Europe is doing about 69%, compare that with what Asia is doing, 59%. Africa is projected to do 52% with the signing of this agreement by 2022. That's 3 years from now. So it's a good news, big news coming from Africa, and I believe that the entire African continent will benefit from it. And I also hope that this will be taken further to single currency conversation that has started already using West Africa as an example. I hope that that will scale through in the coming period. But it's a big news everywhere in the world, and the world is watching, and we hope that Africa will see this through. And I'm happy that the president also has his target of about 30 billion US dollars. When you compare that with what you're expecting from the entire trade of $3.42 trillion, I think in a couple of years to come, you realize that it's not the ambition is not what is unachievable. And president is specific. Most of this should come from non-oil sector, non-oil sector. So I'm happy Nigeria signed eventually, but I also have my concerns of how prepared Nigeria is at this moment.
But first, when you sign a continental free trade area, all eyes will be on the big economies first.
Yes. Yes,
all eyes will be on the big economies.
Nigeria, South Africa, and Egypt. Those are countries that people are looking forward to and see how much of benefit this will be to this country. So it's not going to be a walk in the park for these economics. This economy, we need to do more in order for them to achieve the most from all of this. I'm happy United Nations had also made comments regarding this and telling Africans that, hey, you start a missed opportunity, but if you are not careful, this agreement could also spell doom for economies that are not prepared, economies that are not ready for all of this.
So that takes us to what you call a SWOT analysis.
Yeah.
It's called strength, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. So do a quick one for us as far as SWOT analysis of this is for Nigeria.
Yeah, so for, the strength Nigeria has is already 200 million people. We are producing, one first thing that comes to mind will be cement that Nigeria is producing, better than most countries in Africa. And this opens opportunity for Nigeria. Do we want to go open cement factory in those places? And I'm not looking at individual business in this sense. I'm looking at Nigerian businesses as economy, the capacity Nigeria has to produce. We also have reduced to some extent rice importation. And how much of that can we have? Do we continue to have partnership between Kebbi and Lagos? Will another state replicate it? Because opportunity we have Kebbi and Anambra State, can they have some level of agreement where Kebbi / Sokoto State with a lot of resources in animal skin, would they process that and send it to Anambra State for Anambra State to provide us with shoes and spread out all over the country?
About the area market.
The area market. So,
yes.
so it's going to be good news if Nigeria we maximize this. Even though Nigeria may say, I don't want to wear made in Nigeria. Hey, other places, there are countries in Africa that want black soap from Nigeria.
I agree with you. I've been to Aba and I've seen what is being done in area market, and they're still doing flip-flops.
Exactly.
And others and baton slippers they're taking to Benin Republic, into many other parts of the continent.
Apart from
even
that,
as crude as they are, not up to standards of the Europe or the Chinese. But
They are
Folks
doing
are
pretty well.
entrepreneurship, yes.
Yeah.
They're working there.
So
we have the strength.
We're still going to see cuts in tariff or removal in tariff. 90% of goods, only 10% sensitive product will be charged tariff. The good news about even the 10% is only for some time. Eventually, it will be removed completely. Then you have 100% of goods. So with all of the, what does it mean? It means Nigerian products, other African products can compete within the continent in terms of production. So the faith will now be how much it will cost you locally, cost of power, cost of energy, et cetera, cost of labor to produce within your country. And in a case where some people are not serious, are laid back, people can come from other countries. Labor, you can get labor from other countries as long as they can accept the fee, the cost of labor, and they produce and
salaries and wages.
Yes,
so you could have Nigerians cross over to Rwanda, for example, and work in factories at whatever level, if the pay is right.
It pays right. So it opens Africa to competition.
This is what you call undressing in public.
Exactly.
Economically speaking.
Exactly. So the strength iron.
Because the tide is now out. We know who is going to be swimming naked.
Yeah.
But the EFCFTA is going to be a new beginning for everyone. So how do we leverage the new trade treaty for rapid industrialization?
Yeah, so I go back to the conversation that United Nations have been having with African countries, which is we need to build framework for our own development. It's an opportunity for us. Our market is longer 200 million. Our market is now 1.2 billion. So production and export is huge on our part. What we need to have for industrialization, because when you look at the key sectors that will grow projected, that have been projected to grow with this, manufacturing, automobile, chemicals, etc., the 6 major sectors that would grow are driven by processing and manufacturing and automation.
Packaging.
So you need energy. Energy is the key thing. So what I'm advising authorities to do is to see how they will support private sector for power provision. So how do we support, even though homes might not have, I understand we cannot solve this within 2 years or 4 years or 5 years, but how do we, in phases, start to provide more powers for
to the critical production hubs. So those hubs that Mr. Vice President had, those SMEs hubs that we've tried to set up, those special economic zones.
Exactly.
One quick question. Do you think we need to rework our budget, our annual budget from 2020 to reflect the fact that we have our signature on the EFCFTA?
I think so.
So begin to prioritize.
Yes.
And not business as usual.
Infrastructure. Because the rest of Africa will not wait for us. Some of them have competitive advantage over some production of some goods.
No, the shot has been fired already. Yeah. The race is on.
Yeah. So we need to see how to support our private sector production locally. And this will reflect in provision of infrastructure and human capital, most important, because it's not limited to goods. Also, business people, one of the first objective is free movement of business people, which means if you and I are not doing enough, somebody from South Africa may take your seat, and somebody from Kenya may take my seat, if the pay is right for them. So I'm
going to go with this seat after the show. I'm just going to put it in the back of the car and just take it out and fly it out.
So we need to do more as a people, and entire Africa is open to us.
So this is about whatever happens on the continent. This is trade, professionalism. It's open borders, open skies.
Exactly.
In the manner of speaking.
Exactly. So if I look at the threats, what are the threats that we're open to? Small businesses, SMEs across Africa may not, at this time, we need support, particularly for countries that are not prepared in terms of infrastructure for them. What does it mean? Larger businesses from country A may actually export goods to country B, where SMEs are the major competitor, and large businesses come in, you don't know the history of the company or the organization or the industry, and just take them out of business. And we have to also trade with fairness. So Mr. President has mentioned it. This is why Nigeria, among other countries, needs to support small businesses so that at the end of the day, we don't have convergence of businesses by bigger businesses swallowing the smaller ones.
So we need to expand credit. We need to pursue more credit to small businesses.
Make policies that would support them. Policies that would support them. Also push for structural transformation. So that at the end of the day, we have big markets. What are we going to sell to them? Who's going to clothe entire 1.2 million people? And this is coming at a time where the president already promised 100 million people out of poverty.
Out of poverty over a 10-year period.
This is the best time all of this can be implemented because you have 1.2 billion people to service. And I think that we can even achieve more than that in terms of poverty
We've signed, Mr. President has signed on behalf of the 200 million of us. Yes. Thank you very much, Mr. President. Now let's get down to work. Thank you very much. It's Monday. Let's get down to work. Thank you so much for coming through. Paul Alaje, senior economist at SPM Professionals. Thank you, everyone, for watching. This is your Business Morning this Monday. Let's continue the conversation tomorrow from Lagos, Nigeria's financial and economic capital. I'll see you then. Bye for now.